All right, what's on the bench? I have a AliExpress find. Now, first of all, I have to vent. I bought this amplifier, okay, and it comes in two versions. Just a regular version. Then it has one that has a built-in battery. And I thought, that's really great because you know, I got these from Zinco, and these are just wonderful. If you want an external amplifier, this is the one to get. They make like 3 different versions of this. They gave all 3 to me, but these have a little built-in battery, rechargeable. Yeah, these are the go-to. These are just super cool. I can't express how good these things are. So I saw this one, which is kind of a clone, right? It's kind of got it on off. It's got a battery inside. So like I said, you can order it with and without the battery. And they're like $5, right? I went, okay, let me give one a try. So I bought one and I got it and I couldn't make it work. And I opened it up and there was no battery inside. And I thought, oh man, what did I just do? You know? And I thought, maybe I ordered it wrong. So I ordered another one. Of course, being an idiot. I ordered another one, made sure this time I ordered it with the battery. And when I got it, guess what? No battery. So then I tried to return it. And of course, they want you to jump through hoops. So you have to take this perfect picture of the packaging and all this. You have to prove that your thing was bad. Of course, the packaging is, when you get it, it's half ripped up anyway. They ship it in these flimsy little plastic bags. They don't put it in boxes anymore. And of course, I didn't have the original packaging. It got thrown away. So it's like, oh man. So anyway, big rant. I tried to get my money back, but they said, nope, not without perfect pictures. You have to have perfect pictures of all the labels and everything. So if you buy anything, make sure you take a perfect picture of the label of the outside packaging, and then a perfect picture of every single bag you open up inside that little bag before you do anything at all, if you want to ever return anything. So anyway, that's my rant. So anyway, we got one and I got no battery. So, I mean, you could put a battery in it. There's a place you could solder one in. But now I'm pissed off enough that I don't even want to do this. And they're no good. So don't put a battery in them. Don't buy one because they're crap. I mean, these things are awful. Okay. So I'll show you today how bad they are. So yeah, so there you go, AliExpress. Nobody ever buy one of these. They're junk. All right. Take that. It does come in a bag with a charging cord and stuff. Anyway, yeah, would have been a good idea. Maybe I can use the box. But let's go ahead and hook one up. Since I don't have a battery, I jumpered over the charging circuit. That chip there is the charging circuit. The battery would go there. So I'm just bypassing it. So we're just going to use the cord that came with it, and we will plug this on. And now we have a little red light there, and then we will hit the on button, and we should get a green light. Come on, get a green light. Oh, now it's not going to work. I had it working earlier. Worked fine. Yeah, I don't know. This thing is junk. Thing is junk. Okay, now I can't film it because the stupid thing's not working. Oh, my soldering job came off. There you go. I need to solder my wire back. I disconnected it to try different voltage levels out instead of the 5 volts. The part itself, we'll look at the data sheet. The part itself is good up to 5.5 volts. So I wanted to see if you'll see the trace is just awful. The bad trace, I was wondering if it was voltage dependent. It is not. It's bad at all voltage levels. So I'll solder that back on. We'll turn on the spectrum analyzer and we'll sweep it, and I'll show you how bad it is. Okay, we'll call this chip of the day. It's a TQP3M9037. That's the part that's in this thing. Looks like a nice part. Up to 6 gigahertz, 0.7 to 6 gigahertz operation. Low noise, 0.4 dB, 20 dB gain, output up to plus 35 dBm. That's pretty healthy. So it does look like a pretty nice part. It says high linearity. Remember that term, high linearity. Says So it gives some examples of how to hook it up. It gives a Smith chart. These guys are like the real deal. Pretty nice. See, here's the S11 to go in. There's the output, perfect 50 ohms. Yeah, it is a pretty nice part. The data sheet is very extensive about all these cool things. But let's go ahead and turn ours on. Now, the way that you sweep these things, get my exposure right here. We are going to use the tracking generator. We are going to do minus 20 dBm. And the part does put out some power. So I have a power 30 dB pad in here. So we are going to put a through between the tracking generator and the input so we can zero the machine. All right. It's probably pretty good without it, but let's take a look. Yeah, see, look at that. It's pretty good. All right. So it's down here at minus 50 because we're outputting minus 20 and we have a 30 dB pad, so that we're there at minus 50. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to store that and then ref to it. So now it's a 0 dBm. So it's nice and flat at 0 dBm. And then we will stick in our amplifier. And it should go up to plus 20, right? 20 dB. 20 dB. Let's see. This one goes on this end. Now I've got to hook up to my amplifier. There we go. Got the SMAs going. Where's my power cord? All right, let's plug the sucker in. And there we go. We get a really, really, really ugly trace. Can I flip that around a little bit? Oops. What did I just do? I just hit the tracking generator. Nope. What did I just do? There we go. Yeah. Look. It does get up to... Wait a minute. What did I just do? Oh, I hit preset. That's what I did. I put my fat fingers on preset. All right, let's go back. Let's zero everything. Oh, man. Careful with fat fingers. Fat fingers have got me into trouble more times than I can count. Fat fingers. Oh, there we go. All right, so we're still looking pretty good, but let's go ahead and we'll go ahead and normalize it and make everything look pretty. All right. Now, trying not to be a complete idiot, do not put your finger on the preset. I was in a hurry. I've always been in a hurry. I have no patience at all. All right, there's our ugly trace. It's going up to like plus, let's see here. This is supposed to be good from 0.7. So frequency, we'll do a start frequency of 700 megahertz. Yeah. And we're going up to 3.2 gigs. It's supposed to go all the way to 6 gigs, but yeah, there you go. It does get up to, yeah, it's got this dip. It's just awful. It's just awful. Where's my marker? Let's put a marker here at 3 gigahertz. It's only got a gain of 11 there. And at the high end, we got a gain of 22. Then it's got this funny dip in here. It's probably got some really bad values. They probably put 0.1 microfarad capacitors where there should be small capacitors. I've seen this on other Chinese things. They just throw whatever the capacitor they feel like in it, and they don't understand RF. Anyway, rant. That's what IMSAI's guys doing today, ranting. Yeah, so don't buy one. Don't buy one. They are junk. Junk. Let's measure some capacitors and see if the values are what they should be. I don't remember what amp I was looking at before, and they just threw in some really ridiculous values on this thing. We'll take a little bit closer look at it too. I mean, otherwise it looks okay. It looks the part. All right, so it's got this nice arrow, tells you which direction to go. Looks like there's some kind of diode on the input, and then capacitively coupled, and then there looks like 100K bias to ground going on the input. Here's the little amplifier, and then here's the T network to bring power in. There's a couple inductors to clean up the power, and then it goes through another capacitor. And why is that capacitor? That looks kind of weird. That part there doesn't look quite right. Not quite sure about that. Another diode. Another diode? Why is there a diode on the output? That doesn't make any sense. Where's my magnifier? Here it is. B5819. Wow. Why do you need a diode on the output? That doesn't make any sense. That don't make no sense. Maybe we can pull some parts out of this thing and make it better. Let's measure some things. See if we can't use our fancy tweezers here. Let me back up here a bit. I'm going to use my fancy tweezers and see if I can't see what this capacitor right here is. Yeah, it's 1.4 microfarads. That can't be right. What's on the input? 100 nanofarads. It should be 100 picofarads. What the heck are they doing? What's wrong with these people? What's wrong? What's wrong with these people? Yeah. So, you see? See? 100 picofarads in, 100 picofarads out. What the hell's going on here? So let's go ahead and take these parts. I don't know what that big jubber, that's just ridiculous. We'll take that one out, we'll take that one out, we'll put in some 100 picofarads and see if it all gets better. It all gets better. That'll be good. All right, I'm going to be using my my hot tweezers. I love these things. These are the Sequire. Let's see here. Let's oops. Let's go up to here. The temperature turned on. Okay, now it's going, and we're up to temp. We should be able to reach in and grab that little sucker. Pull them off. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that easy? Let's get rid of this big jabber here. I have no idea what that stupid thing is. We'll get rid of him. Come on. There we go. He's gone. Let's get rid of this guy. He's gone. All right. Yeah, there we go. I'm not sure about that input thing there. We'll leave it in place. We'll put in the 100 picos, and people are always commenting on how terrible it is to call them puff, 100 puff. Gotta say picofarad. Gotta say picofarad. You know, when I started out, I think I learned what a picofarad was around 1970, maybe 1968 or something like that. I learned what a picofarad was a long time ago. And a lot of the old timers called them puffs. And when I joined Hewlett-Packard, you know, other people around me use the word puff as well. And some people say it's a military thing. Some people say it's a, you know, stupid CBers put a bad name to it or whatever. But yeah, it's okay to call them puffs if you're as old as I am. If you're as old as dirt, it's okay. Anyway, we'll call them 100 picofarads today. I need to find some though. I think I've got some somewhere. We've got to look around for them. Okay, let's see here. Let's put a little solder on the board. I'm going to use this location there and this one here. All right, let's get 100 picofarads out. I don't have any 603s, I have 805s. So we'll just try to have to jam it in there and hope for the best. These look like COGs too. These look nice. These kind of a gray color instead of a brown color. Look, they look the part. Yeah. Ooh, that one's not going to fit there. Will it fit here? Okay. See if I can make it work here. Let me see if we're making contact. Got a beeper here. Nope. Nope. Problem with putting an 0805 on a, oops. Okay, that's working. Okay, that one's good. I'll try to put one over there. I think that one looked pretty good. Let's give it a test. Yep. All right. We've got 100 picofrizz in there. Let's see if that improved anything or not. All right. So here's our board, and let's see what the trace looks like now. Whoo! Definitely an improvement. Still has a big droop, but that weird little notch thing went away. So much, much better. Certainly usable to 2 gigahertz, and then it really falls off at 3 gigahertz. Who knows what it's like at 6 gigahertz? I wouldn't want to know. So anyway, yeah, there you go. Once again, China fails. I have no idea what they're doing over there. So yeah, don't buy one. Please don't buy one. They're crap.